the graphical user interface. What exactly that I call it as a GUI. Expanded essential use cases is what I will be calling it as a EEUC. When it comes to the UML-based system testing, so I will be speaking with respect to the Lawman's approach. Class level, in the sense, we also call it as a unit level. Hello everyone, I welcome all of you to the yet another, and it's going to be the last session in object-oriented system testing. So guys, what exactly that I will be discussing with all of you in this session? Yes, let's get into the session quickly without wasting much of your time. In this session, I will be discussing about the UML-based testing. Along with that, I will also discuss what exactly state chart-based system testing. So guys, without wasting much of your time, as I told you, let's get into the topic. So what exactly that I have with respect to the detailed GUI definition first. So guys, when it comes to the detailed GUI definition, so before I explain this diagram to all of you, so let me tell you some important thing. What exactly is that, sir? So guys, once a set of essential use cases has been identified, the graphical user interface, what exactly that I call it as a GUI. So guys, that will be flushed out with a design level detail. So that's what you need to remember. So once I collect all the required details, so guys, I will be ignoring the GUI in the design level is what you need to remember. So fine. So guys, here in this diagram, they are going to clearly explain the complete GUI system of the currency conversion program is what you need to observe here. I will be speaking about the real use case in the coming slides, but you need to remember, so with that particular context, I will be explaining this. Sir, what is that you told? Yes, I spoke about the real use case. Alright, so guys, kindly observe this diagram what I have. So I would like to call it as a GUI, in fact, so not a diagram. So what exactly that I have? So you have currency converter. So you have the text currency converter. I will treat that as a label 1. So that is what you need to understand. When I'm designing the interface, I'm not worried about what is the content that I have. So instead, I will be thinking about what exactly that I have inside the coding. That is what I will call it as a label 1. Alright, so fine, I have US dollar amount that I will be treating it as a label 2, and then I have equivalent in, okay, I will be treating that as a label 3. Alright, so fine, after that I have text boxes. What is that I have? 2 text boxes. So the first text box is what I will call it as a text dollar, and the second one that I will be calling it as a ILB, equivalent amount. So whatever the name that you want, you can just rename it. So that's not an issue. Alright, then after that, so please observe carefully. The first one, the radio button, what I have for Brazil, I will treat that as a option Brazil, and the next one that I have is option Canada, option Europe Community is what I will be representing it as option EU. So fine, then after that, the last one that I have here is option Japan. So that's what you need to observe. But when it comes to the buttons, how am I representing the buttons? So please observe, CMD is a thing that I'm trying to represent it as a command. So fine, when it comes to the compute, so I will be representing that with the compute that is going to be represented as CMD compute and CMD clear, CMD quit. So that's what you need to observe. This is going to be the detailed definition of the GUI with respect to the currency conversion problem is what you need to remember. So guys, moving forward to the next concept. You have seen this concept in my previous session. So what exactly that you have seen? So please observe. So you would have seen essential use cases, but now I have in front of all of you expanded essential use cases. I will be calling this as a EEUC. What exactly EEUC in the sense? So please remember, expanded essential use cases is what I will be calling it as a EEUC. Why do we need this EEUC, sir, when we had EUC? I repeat, why do we need this EEUC, sir, when we had EUC? Will be your question. My dear students, this is going to be the last stage, but you will have a more detailed information when we compare to the EUC is what you need to remember. Sir, more detail in the sense what? Observe here carefully. When it comes to the EEUC1, so what is the first thing that you have? So obviously the system function what you had is start application. That is the first system function that we have. In total, we had 7 system functions is what we have studied or discussed in the previous session, right? So in that, the first system function is what I'm representing in the EEUC1. So fine. Then what is the description for this system function? So please listen carefully. The user starts the currency conversion application in the Windows. So that is going to be the description of this system function. So fine. Sir, you will also have the precondition and you will also have the post condition when it comes to the EEUC. The one of the most advantage that you will have if you use the EEUC is, so you will get to know the cross reference in the early stage. That is the most important advantage that you will have. I repeat, so you will have or you will be able to notice the cross reference in the early stage if you use the EEUC. So, and also along with that, you will also have the precondition and the post condition, but which you were not having this in the EUC. Now, so let's get into the precondition. What will be the precondition of the system function? That is start application. Yes, currency conversion application is in the storage. So before you start the system or before you start this application, what is the precondition? What is the precondition if I ask you? So you should be able to understand. So the currency conversion application is in the disk. So before I start the application, that is the precondition is what you need to understand. So fine. Then after that, you will be able to identify the different event sequence in detail. So let's understand that also. When it comes to the input event, what is the first thing it is going to happen with respect to the input? The first thing is user double clicks on the currency conversion application icon. That is the first thing it is going to happen. Then what is the reply? What is the output event will occur? So please understand, from the currency conversion appears on the screen. The application screen will appear on the screen is what you need to understand. That is going to be the output. And then followed by the post condition. What will be the post condition of this system function? Please listen to me carefully. The currency conversion application is in memory and the text dollar has focus. That is what you need to understand with respect to the post condition of this particular system function. So what is that you need to observe here? If you come across with the EEUC, so guys, you will have the precondition, you will have the post condition along with that. So you will be able to identify the cross reference in the early stage. That's going to be the one of the advantage is what you need to remember. I have some of the other examples which explains in the same way which I have listed here. I want you all to please take a screenshot. So guys, I want you all to please observe in the EEUC 3. Okay, so what happens in the system function 3? That is going to be in the normal usage. What happens? Again, there also we have the description. There also we have the precondition. You need to observe. Again, there also we have the event sequence. There also you will have. So guys, hope you have taken the screenshot. So here also you will have the input event and here also you will have the output event. And don't forget, so please concentrate, here also you will have the post condition which we were not having in the EUC. So that's the most important point that you need to remember, and they have given the EUC 4. So even for repeated conversion also the same thing will happen. You will have the description, what exactly this function is doing, and also what is the precondition, and then you will have the event sequence. In event sequence, obviously you will observe input event and what is the output event for that particular respective input, and also you will be able to observe the post condition of this particular system function. Like this, you will have some certain 7 different system functions. So it depends on what example that you have taken. So here with respect to the currency conversion program, so we can assume that we have 7 different functions. But it depends on the system function what you have taken. So it depends on the system or the example that you have taken. Based on that, the number of EEUC will occur in that particular example is what I would like to tell you at this point of time. Sir, what is that we need to understand here? For each and every system function, so you will have the description. What exactly that system is doing is what we have given in the description, is what you need to do. So fine, then after that, before I perform that particular function, so what is the state of that system is what we are mentioning in the precondition. So then after that, so you will understand how exactly the event is taking place. So what is the first event? After that, what is the next event that it's going to occur is what we are trying to depict with the help of event sequence. When it comes to the event sequence, obviously I have to focus on input event as well as the output event. Once you get the order of the input event and the response, so guys, you can concentrate on the post condition. So that's a most important thing. So what is going to happen after this? So this is the brief explanation with respect to EEUC. All right, moving forward to the next concept that we have. So guys, when it comes to the real use case, in the first slide itself, I was talking about the real use case. Real use case is quite different from the normal use case. What exactly the difference that you might find it? So guys, please observe, I have some few examples here. So guys, in the normal use case, you would have got enter US dollar amount. But when it comes to the real use case, you would have replaced that with a enter 125 in a text dollar. So that's one of the things that you can observe. Text dollar. Hope you are able to recollect the first slide. I will show you that again after this. All right. Similarly, select a country in the normal use case, but when it comes to the real use case, it's going to get replaced by click on option Brazil button. Okay, this is going to get replaced. This is going to get replaced with this. Why are we replacing like this? So that's the most important thing that you need to remember. So to just avoid the redundancy, reader boredom. So I'm taking a lot of time to read that. So I'm just making the user to read it very comfortably in a short span of time. So that's the most important thing that you need to remember. So that's a main difference or the main observation that you have to do it on the real use case with respect to the normal use case. Especially this real use case is with respect to the Lorman's term is what you need to observe. So fine, this is what you need to understand with respect to the real use cases. Moving forward to the next important thing. So UML-based system testing. When it comes to the UML-based system testing, so I will be speaking with respect to the Lorman's approach. But in this, I will have 4 different levels. The 4 different levels is what you need to understand here one by one. When it comes to the first level, so what happens in the first level? I have already told you in the first slide. So you will be able to identify the cross-reference in the early stage. So that's the most important thing that you need to remember. If I gather all the requirement with respect to the test cases, so guys, I will be able to identify the cross-reference easily. That's the first thing that you need to remember. So what is the meaning of it? So guys, of course, I'll be able to identify the cross-reference easily. Then how do I depict it? So I will be depicting that with the help of, guys, indices matrices. Or indices matrix is one of the best tool that I have to represent. This is what you need to remember. So guys, how do we represent this with the indices matrices? I want all of you to please listen to me. Indices matrices of use case with the system functions is going to get depicted like this. Sir, can you please explain this? Please observe. This is what I have already shown you guys in the first session. All right. I'm just keeping that as a reference for all of you to explain this. What exactly we are trying to do here? So EEUC, okay. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till 9 I have. Imagine like that. R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6, R7. Okay, R8 is not there in this diagram. So guys, what is exactly this R? That is what I will call it as a system functions. All right. So that's what I will call it as a system function. This is what I will call it as a system functions. That is what they are trying to represent with the R value. R value is nothing but they are using it as a reference number. But reference number is nothing but the system function is what you need to remember. So fine. Observe here E1. Okay. E1 has got the R1. So that is how they are trying to map. Okay. So 2 is R2. That's how they are trying to map the indices is what you need to remember in the first point. What is the benefit that if I use the indices matrices is what I will be explaining in this slide. So concentrate carefully. My dear students, it will cover the several possible ways of the entire system. It will help me to identify the system functions completely. That is one of the major advantage that I have with respect to the indices matrix. So guys, you all know that we have discussed a concept called real use case. But when it comes to the real use case is quite opposite to the EEUC is what you should never forget. So guys, that is one of the important point that you need to understand. Yes. After that, there is one more important point. So listen to me carefully. Deriving the system test cases from the real use case is a mechanism. But in this, we need to understand two important major points. What is that? The use case preconditions. I repeat, there is a difference. Understand that carefully. The use case preconditions are the test case precondition. We need to understand two things separately. What is that? The first one is use case. The second one is test case. So guys, the use case preconditions are the test case precondition. That is the first thing that you need to understand here. The second point, so please observe carefully, the sequence of actors' action. So especially actors comes with a use case. The sequence of actors' action, what exactly the actor is behaving. So please remember, and also the system response for that action. Actions of actor and the response for that action. So that is what you need to remember. So guys, that is going to get mapped directly. That's what you need to remember. So please understand the sequence of user inputs event and the system output events. So whatever the user actions that I have, and also for the system response that is going to get directly mapped with the input and output is what you need to remember at this point of time. That's going to get happen with the help of real use case. This is what you need to remember here in the first level. But when it comes to the second level, what happens? So guys, remember, let's understand the second level. We have 4 levels. In that we are trying to understand. The second level is what you need to remember. When it comes to the second level, so guys, listen to me carefully. So what exactly the second level is all about? When it comes to the second level is to develop the test cases from all the real use cases. Yes, we understood that. Assuming that the customer approved of original EEUC. Whatever the original EEUC that I have, so I am getting the approval from the customer. So that is what you need to understand. Suppose if I do that, what will happen? So listen to me carefully. This is the minimal acceptable level of system test case coverage. If the customer approves the EEUC, that is going to be the minimal level of system test case coverage is what you need to remember. So fine. So what exactly that? We are trying to do that. So I have got a simple and the sample test case here. Observe here, I have the system test case 3. So guys, what exactly that I have system function? Normal usage is what I have. And observe here, test performed by who is going to test this. So the name of that person is what we are trying to depict here. And what is the precondition here? So that is what we are trying to mention as usually. And also you will be able to have the event sequence. What's going to be the input event and what's going to be the output event is what you will be recording. So that's what you need to observe here. So this is what you will be finding it in the second level. But what happens with the third level and what happens with the fourth level? So let's check that. So guys, when it comes to the third level, we will be mainly concentrating on the finite state machine. So that's a most important point that you need to remember. What exactly we are trying to do with the finite state machine? Listen to me carefully. The third level is to derive the test cases from where? We are trying to derive the test cases from the finite state machine. And also when it comes to the fourth level, so guys, we are trying to derive the test cases from the state. Observe here, we are trying to derive from the state-based event tables. Guys, what exactly state-based event tables? Let's understand this very carefully. So guys, state chart based, observe system testing. What exactly is the state chart based event testing? When it comes to the word called state chart, you should never forget. So this state chart is for the class level. What is the meaning of class level? Class level, in the sense, we also call it as a unit level. Is it easy? Is it so easy for me to bring that class level to the system level? Yes, of course, I can bring this class level to the system level from the unit level. So that is what I will call it as a class level. From the class level, I need to bring it to the system level. Is it so easy? Yes, I can do that. So by performing what? So listen to me carefully. So guys, the possible workaround is to translate each class level state chart into a set of EDPNs. That is what you need to remember. With the help of EDPNs, compose all the EDPNs to make or to bring that class level state chart to the system level. That is what you need to observe here in the fourth level. So that's one of the important things that you need to remember with respect to the state chart based system testing. So guys, with this, I have come to an end of this chapter and your syllabus of software testing. So thank you very much. Bye bye. All the best to your exam.